there's a saying, your net, and I think evolution recently, where it's your known network is your net worth, and that's because there's a couple of things I actually want to cover on this. So there is a bit of serendipity. So serendipity requires information, right? Your contacts can only connect the dots for you if they know what dots you have. So when people understand what you're working on or what you're trying to go for, what you're trying to achieve, they're more likely to support you. Now, obviously, you have to be very careful here because we're quite naturally prone not to want to share our information. Oh, it looks like my stream is frozen. Has it frozen? Well, hopefully it has not, but if it has, I apologize in advance. So as I was saying, you want people to provide you with opportunities, make the right introductions, right? But they can only do that if they know what you're working on. So it's not going to happen magically. And our memories are quite fallible, right? Even the closest contacts to us, they forget what you're working on. So you need to provide regular updates to even the people closest to you to remind them. And I'm saying this from experience because recently I went to an event. Last week I was in Doha, and the week before I was in Dubai. Two separate events, and each time when I was there I was meeting people. And the initial first event, I just went there, just networked, connected with people. And then the second event, I intentionally told people who even I didn't know as acquaintances what I was working on. To some degree, I didn't go into too much detail, but just hooked them in. And the amount of people that came back to me was like, I'd like to introduce you to so-and-so. I'd like to introduce you to so-and-so. You two should connect. So if you have an interesting idea or proposal, or if you want to achieve something, it's important to kind of share your ambitions. And it's a two-way street, right? There's no point of having a huge network and not actually doing anything with it, or having a huge network connecting with people but not giving them any information. What's the point? And there is something powerful in weak ties, so acquaintances. Acquaintances typically are the ones that are new to us, right? There's no risk. Sometimes our friends are not the ones that kind of connect the dots because they know you, they know your habits, they know maybe they're a bit suspicious. Whereas acquaintances, when you meet them, you can actually ask, hey, by the way, I'm looking for X, Y, Z. Do you know anybody who does this? This gives two things. One, it gives them a chance to make some introductions and you see the value in them, but also it's concrete, right? If you're very specific about what you want. And it signals intention, right? It signals when you share your goals, you're showing that you're a serious person. You're sharing that you have ambition, and there's that whole saying, you are the sum of five people around you. People want to be around successful people, so just naturally attracting them by sharing your ambitions is quite an interesting way to go about network. And it also creates accountability, right? So if people know you're planning, and you've explicitly said this, you're more likely to follow through, or you're more likely to check in. They're more likely to check in on your progress as well. And lastly, I think the hidden resources side is really important. People often have the relevant experience or connections, but they don't necessarily talk about them. So when you're talking to them and you mention something that jogs their memory, they might actually say, oh, well, actually, I never guessed